Welcome to the Sports Minute. If you like the video this evening, please comment and share it. Please subscribe to my YouTube page, Vincent Turner at 560. And I'm Vincent Turner. And this evening, we're going to talk a little college football. We got the college football season preview, the number 3 team in the country in the AP poll that came out last week. And that team is the Ohio State Buckeyes. You got to be happy for Ryan Day. He finally won a national championship last season at a school that's produced so many great football players in the state of Ohio. And when you think about Ohio State football, the first two words come out of your mouth should be Woody Hayes. Then hop along Cassidy. Then you think about all the great players that Coach Hayes had in the 60s. Then you think about the super sophomore team that beat O.J. Simpson in the Rose Bowl. And that team, Jack Tatum, Rex Kern, John Brockington, Jim Steelwagon. That was a very good, serious football team. They should have won 3 national championships 3 years in a row, but that's another topic for another day of the week. But when you think about Ohio State, they've been a program throughout the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even up till now. Football is real serious in the state of Ohio, and that school has a tremendous tradition. And seeing them win it last year, I got to admit that I was happy for Ryan Day. Because if they hadn't won last year after they lost to Michigan, I believe, 4 years in a row? I don't know. I can't count. Ryan Day might have now came back as the Ohio State head football coach. A lot of pressure at their school to win because that school recruits at a high level and their NIL money is long. But one thing about Ohio State, they're coming into this season, they lost a lot last year, but they still got NFL talent. And I'm going to leave one gentleman name off the list right now because I'm going to get to him in the video, but I'm going to start with the offense. They named their starting quarterback Julian Sand this past week. Young man in high school threw over 2,800 yards and 85 touchdowns. The guy that's going to be running the football is C.J. Donaldson. I didn't know he was a Miami, Florida guy. Played at West Virginia for 3 years, over 2,000 yards, and 30 touchdowns. Then they got a real good receiver who I think is going to be a first-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Mr. Carnell Tate out of Chicago. 52 receptions on the year, 733 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. Now we go to the defense. Young man inside a local here in the Atlanta metro area where I live. I live in Douglasville, Georgia, which is 20 miles west of downtown Atlanta. So I know a lot about Caleb Downs. I know about him when he had an outstanding freshman year at Alabama, and I didn't think he was going to do anything lesser than what he did at Ohio State last year. All-American safety, numbers 82 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions. When you talk about all the great safeties that's played in the college football level, Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, Tommy Casanova, even Roll Tide, Tommy Wilcox. He's in that same level. And when it's all said and done, he might be the best college football safety that's ever came out of college football since a young man out of Chesapeake, Virginia, Kenny Easley, by way of UCLA. And then you think about the Buckeyes defense. Sonny Styles is an NFL player. Edric Houston, D tackle, is going to be the next great D lineman to go first round. So this is Ohio State football team. They might not have a lot of talent that they had last year, but the one thing the Buckeyes have, and if I'm Texas and Archie Manning, and especially on the defensive side of the ball, Mr. Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, Michael Taft, and Malik Muhammad, I will be worrying about the young man out of Miami, 19 years old, Mr. Jeremiah Smith. And think about this, what Texas done in the college football semifinal game. They made sure that he wasn't going to beat them. They triple covered them, put 4 people on him. They took him out of the football game. But you saw what he did. He came back against Notre Dame and had that big 55-yard reception to really end the game for Notre Dame in the fourth quarter. Now, I'm finna say some things that might offend a lot of people this evening. about this young man being maybe the best football player I've seen pound for pound ever in my lifetime. I was born July 17th, 1960. I'm 65 years old, and I really didn't start following college football. I didn't know what it was about until I was about 5 years old. But I've seen a lot of great football players, and I'm going to start for the college level. Probably the only reason that a lot of people don't want to put Mr. Smith in that category because he doesn't play the quarterback position. He plays the wide receiver position. Let me give you his numbers from last year. 76 receptions, 1,315 yards receiving, 15 touchdowns. He has 17 yards a catch. And I'll be honest with you, when Ohio State went in the college football playoffs as the 8th seed, and it took on a 9th seed Tennessee volunteer team, I really didn't know how good Jeremiah Smith was. But after that first quarter, when he had over 100 yards on a very good Tennessee secondary, and Jamal McCoy, who a lot of people are listing as a first-round talent in the 2026 NFL draft for Tennessee, and I saw how he worked out, I said, oh my God, what I'm watching here. Then came back against Oregon the next week, the mic is dropped. I don't know what he had. I know he had close to over 200 yards, and he had 3 touchdowns, and I know he was the best player on the field. And I said, man, greatness is really in my eyesight. And I'm going to tell you this. As I said earlier, I don't want to offend nobody and no disrespect. Now, in my 65 years of me following this college football game and learning what it was about when I was 6 years old and watching players play up close and personal, the players I'm finna say on this list were players that can move the needle, players that changed the fortune of their program, players that was at the epitome, I want to say the highest level of their position. The names I'm going to say, I'm going to include Mr. Jeremiah Smith in that category. Eldridge Dickey, who I saw play at 6 years old at Tennessee State. O.J. Simpson at SC. Johnny Rodgers at Nebraska. Anthony Davis at SC. Joe Washington, Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma. Earl Campbell, the Eyes of Texas, Bevo. Billy Sims, Oklahoma. A gentleman I saw up close and personal. I attended the University of Arkansas from 1978 to 1982, Gary Anderson. Eric Dickerson, SMU, Pony Express, along with Craig James. Anthony Carter at Michigan. The man out of Griffin, Georgia, Willie Gault, University of Tennessee. And of course, the man out of Ricefield, Georgia, Herschel Walker. Tony Dorsett out of Pitt. Steve McNair out of Alcorn State. Saw these 2 gentlemen play up close and personal. Jerry Rice. Valley Inabina. Walter Payton. That's my father's favorite player. Jermaine Johnson, that played at Grambling. Barry Sanders at Oklahoma State. Johnny Hector at Texas A&M. Boy, he was special. Rocket Ismail, Notre Dame. How can we not leave the playmaker himself, Michael Irvin? Chris Carter out of the Ohio State. And Desmond Howard out of Michigan. I did say Anthony Carter. I hope I did, but I'm going to repeat them again. All those players on the college level, they were a major impact, not only on their schools, but on the level of college football. And Jeremiah Smith is in that category. And let me throw Randy Moss' name in there. But when you talk about an impact, a player dominating the game, a player that's a must-see TV, a player that you stop everything what you're doing, you cut your phone off, This guy got it right here. This gentleman's special. And there's a lot of great receivers right now playing in pro football. From Jamar Chase to Justin Jefferson to Devontae Adams to T. Higgins to C.D. Lamb. I'm sorry if I left some people's names off, but after watching him last year and it's only at their first year at Ohio State, I wouldn't be surprised right now he could come in and dominate. And I know a lot of people out there in Boulder, Colorado were crazy about Travis Hunter. There's no question about it. Travis Hunter is a very special talent at the cornerback position and wide receiver position. But I'm telling you, if I had to pick a player between Travis Hunter and Jeremiah Smith, it's not even close. And Deion Sanders can agree with that. He might not want to say it, but this young man, oh my God. And you think about all the receivers that's played in the National Football League. Lance Howard, Lynn Swan, John Jefferson, Roy Green, Mike Quick, Al Toon, Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, Herman Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, Andre Johnson, Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens, all of y'all. This young man, one day, where the game is going is becoming a passing game, we might need to wipe all y'all off the list. This gentleman can dominate, I believe, right now on the NFL level. And I remember a couple of coaches. I remember Brad Switzer said this about, he said Earl Campbell was the only player that he could see that come out of high school and go right into the NFL. Then I think about another coach, football coach in the state of Georgia, said Herschel Walker was the only player he could see that can go from high school to the NFL. And a lot of people felt that way about Marcus Dupree, outstanding running back at Oklahoma. But I'm telling you, this gentleman here is very, very special. And in my lifetime, the names I just mentioned were truly Hall of Fame football players and very special football players. And now we're talking about a young man that's now about 6'3", 230, allegedly a 4'4", 4'3" guy, bench pressing what, 225 pounds between 25 reps and 30 reps, 11-foot broad jump, a 38-inch vertical, squatting 550 pounds. He's already got the mindset he wants to be the greatest ever that played this game at any position. And I think about greatness when you follow this great game of football. And I go all the way back to Jim Brown when he was with the Cleveland Browns in '64. Then I think about Joe Namath winning Super Bowl III. Then I think about the Kansas City Chiefs. They had them, 16, 17 HBCU players that was on their squad: Otis Taylor, Buck Buchanan, Willie Lanier. Then I think about the Dallas Cowboys in the '70s with Roger Staubach and Tony Dorsett. Then, of course, how can you not leave off the silver and black of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Excuse me, the gold and black. Got it mixed up with the Cowboys colors. Swan, Bradshaw, Stallworth, Lambert, Green, Blunt. Then you think of New England, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick and their great run. And then now you think about Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes and what he doing. Then the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. But once this gentleman gets into the league, and if he gets drafted by the right team, he's going to have that type of impact. And even though Ohio State comes in ranked number 3, In the first game, they taking on Texas up there in the big house in Columbus. And way this young man, Jeremiah Smith, has worked in the offseason, I'm telling you, a lot of people are getting excited about Arch Manning, right? And that's duly so. But I'm going to tell you, Ohio State is now named the starting quarterback, Julian Sand, who's a five-star out of California, who can rip that football. I'm going to give you some advice to the Texas Longhorns and you, Steve Sarkisian, and your defensive coordinator. While you worrying about Arch Manning and the numbers he's going to put up in that game, and he talking about his Heisman watch, and to all the Mannings, Eli, Peyton, and Cooper, y'all better be watching what that young man on the other side of football going to do. His name is Jeremiah Smith. And I hope Mr. Sarkisian, y'all better have a game plan, a coverage for him. You better not let Malik Muhammad, who you think is an NFL talent, handling him one-on-one, or it's going to be ugly. And maybe after the game, we might be talking about Arch Manning numbers. But we're going to be talking about that number 3 team, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and how dangerous they're going to be with maybe the best player in the country. Ohio State is going to be for real. And I'm telling you this very quietly. I'm kind of leaning to Ohio State to win that football game just because of Jeremiah Smith. There have been some great football players in Ohio State football history. Remember, they only got the only two-time Heisman Trophy winning Archie Griffin. And Chris Carter has been fantastic with him. David Boston. A lot of great football players. Chris Wales. But honestly, Cardale Jones, Ezekiel Elliott. But the way I'm looking at it right now, Jeremiah Smith is going to be the best that ever stepped on the grounds of Buckeye Stadium. And that includes you too, Marvis Harrison Sr., Chris Avale, Garrett Wilson. I'm sorry. This gentleman, maybe in my lifetime, might be the best football player I've ever seen with my own eyes, up close and personal, pound for pound. I haven't seen him up close and personal, but that's on my wish list to do. But watching him on TV, he's that good. Randy Moss, you was good when you was at Marshall, but you wasn't physically gifted. Terrell Owens, you lift a lot of weights, and you had probably the best body along with Kevin Johnson to play at that size along with you, also Julio Jones. But I don't know if y'all can touch this gentleman right here. And I'm going to end it at that. Dun, 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 dun. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. Please subscribe to my YouTube page, Vincent Turner 560. I've been your host this evening. You know I got to end. Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play. Jeremiah Smith.